engaging celebrity interviews, exciting updates from Christian filmmakers, movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely, and so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Faith on Film. We've got a great show for you today. Thank you for joining us. Holly, how you doing?
We do have a great show. I'm doing fine. Who are you going to interview today?
Well, I did an interview recently with Carl Wesley Anderson. He's the executive director of Born to Blaze Ministries. He's an international evangelist and documentary filmmaker, and he's also the author of the book Love Speaks and director-producer of the series based on the books with the same name, Love Speaks. So it was a great interview, a lot of great information from him.
Good.
And then you've got something.
Well, I got a couple of movies to talk about. There's a World War II movie out there for all you World War II lovers, and it's called Pressure, starring Brendan Fraser. Then we've got another series about Moses, and we'll tell you all about it after we watch the interview with Isaac.
All right, well, let's go to the trailer of Love Speaks.
I'm Carl Wesley Anderson, a storyteller on a journey through time to discover and recognize the voice of God. This is a collection of virtually untold stories of salvation history, an ongoing narrative where we find that God has been faithful to appear and speak in every generation. And because He's been that faithful, He'll appear and speak to you and I in our own generation. Each film in the series is based on a chapter of my book, Love Speaks, and will equip you in a new way to hear God's voice.
Well, we are here now with the Reverend Carl Wesley Anderson, who's an international equipping evangelist and documentary filmmaker, and he's going to have to explain what that international equipping evangelist is. Welcome to the program, Carl.
Thank you, Isaac. It's great to see you again. Our friendship goes back many years, so it's really fun to be on your program today. And yeah, what is that? Well, I was called at the age of 22. I came to faith at the age of 20. So just 2 years in, I felt like the Lord put on my life a calling to equip the church and to make the incarnate Christ real in believers, and I became an equipping evangelist. So I've traveled so far to about 28 nations and preached, and mainly equipping the church, although I have done street outreaches, preached for many hours with just my Bible on a street corner, and done those types of outreaches as well, crusades, you name it. But my heart is really for believers to fall more passionately in love with Jesus. And my current calling then is to extend for believers their own ability to hear God's voice more clearly and more often, and to understand the times in which we live.
Okay. Well, now, of course, we are here today to talk about a film series that you have that I have seen, by the way, and was very impressed with your production quality. Most of these, I'm almost going to get in trouble for saying this, but a lot of these Christian programs that you find on Christian TV are just not quite at the production level that I would love for them to be, and yours was. Can you tell us a little bit about Love Speaks?
Yeah, so Love Speaks came out of my cancer battle. About 11 years ago, I got a very serious form of cancer. It was melanoma, stage 3B, a skin cancer on my leg that spread into my lymph nodes and became very, very deadly. Prior to getting this cancer for about 2 years, I have been writing a book on the book of Revelation, teaching people how to understand it and interpret it and apply it. Then I got struck with this disease, and the Lord said to me that summer, Carl, the enemy is trying to kill you before your time. So you must be as aggressive fighting him as he is fighting you. And so that summer, I sought the Lord, and he showed me in one weekend 8 different ways to hear his voice. There were 8 different contacts. So I compiled them. This is kind of a little card here. You can kind of see that there's 21 different ways on there to hear the voice of God, starting all the way up here with the most common, that's the Bible, the Word of God, ending with the audible voice, which is very rare. And then what happened is the Lord led me in these treatments, and they were very, very difficult. It was actually the toughest one that he led me to take. And I had a fever, because with melanoma, they battle this disease, this cancer. By elevating your immune system, it gives you a fever, but the hope is that it will also destroy the cancer. So in my case, the first 2 years, I actually had to endure 69 weeks of fevers in a row. But I never lost faith in the Lord. I knew I was fighting the enemy, and I did not ever blame the Lord. I just sought him in his presence and power. And from that came the book, Love Speaks, 21 Ways to Recognize the Voice of the Lord. But then from that, one day I'm in prayer about my life. Now, prior to the book, I was creating high level documentary films. We were filming weddings, the real top end weddings here in Minnesota for 20 years. So I was in that media field already. But in prayer, the Lord said, Carl, I'm going to give you a new calling to add to your equipping calling. I want you to become a media missionary. And when he said that, I thought, Lord, that's very special. I had never heard that term. So I wrote that down. And as I prayed about it, my calling came that he wanted me to go back through salvation history and retell some of the great stories of the faith, some very well-known, some almost unknown, in a compelling way, bring them to a new generation, let them also be evangelistic in nature, but teaching in nature and inspirational. And so I said, well, Lord, where do I start? I was in London at the time. I was getting better. I had been battling for 4 years. And he said, start with Love Speaks. You've got 21 chapters. So that's why you saw in the trailer, I went ahead, and it took me 7.5 years of my life, but I created 21 episodes for international broadcast. Each one goes back in history, retells these stories, and it inspires us today. Hey, you know what? If they could hear God's voice so beautifully, I myself can learn to hear God's voice in that way. And that's what Love Speaks is.
Oh, my goodness. Well, first of all, I have known you for, I don't know, at least 10 years, maybe more. And I had no idea that you had cancer. Okay. My daughter just recently went through a cancer battle. She had cancer in the tongue, really right at the very back end of the tongue. It was not an aggressive cancer, but she had apparently had it for quite a while, and it was already starting. The tumor was literally blocking her throat. So she, of course, had to have surgery to remove that. Now, the original prognosis, I think that's what you call it, was that they were going to have to cut off her tongue, the whole entire tongue, okay? But somehow her faith just grew to the point where she literally told the doctor, if you cut off my tongue, God's just going to give me a new one. And wow. she didn't just say it, she really believed it. So anyway, at the end of the day, they only had to cut off a quarter of it. Somehow things started to shrink on her. They only cut off a quarter of it. They told her that she was going to have to be on a feeding tube for like 3 months. Well, she was only on that feeding tube for 10 days or 14 days. The trach that she had on, they told her she would have it also for like 3 months. In 7 days, that was gone, and she was able to talk. So, God certainly can do miracles, obviously, and I don't know where you currently are with that, but I'm glad that it didn't stop you from. Well, really, it almost seemed like it propelled you to doing what you've done.
It did, and yeah, I'm healed in Jesus' name. We get a full body PET scan every 6 months for the first 5 years after the last major operation. I had 3 major operations, by the way. Just want to pause here and encourage anybody that's battling, particularly cancer, remember to keep battling and give praise for the healings, but also remember the enemy tries to come back sometimes with certain forms. In my case, because it was in my lymph nodes already, he attacked me 3 different times. And I just kept the faith. You know, like I said, I think I learned, Isaac, this phrase in scripture, the sacrifice of praise. Mm-hmm. And it's in Hebrews. And I learned that the hard way. And it was like I'd get a full PET CT scan on like a Friday, and then I wouldn't be able to meet with my oncologist until like the following Wednesday. And so between Friday and Wednesday, I don't know the report. So I didn't pull this off all the time, but I can tell you there were moments where I just lifted my hands and I praised the Lord with, no matter what the outcome was, I was going to providentially praise him. Now, I say that, and I balance that with actually there were some weeks where the enemy was whispering lies in my ear, telling me I wouldn't survive till the next week. And so I did not have the strength to bring the sacrifice of praise all the time. But the times that I did, I found that my faith grew.
Wow. So we are all humans and we sometimes can be weak, can't we? But if we can just pull through, like you said, with the sacrifice of praise, God will respond favorably, won't he?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been through another valley the last few years. It was a personal relationship valley that was nearly as difficult as cancer. And I remember in the middle of that, I said to the Lord the phrase, "What next?" Because he taught me years ago when I was going through cancer. He said, try not to ask me the why question, right? That's our human response. We always want to know, why me? Why this? And he said to me one day, I reserve the right not to answer the why question, but I will always answer the question, what next? Now, in my own life, I had written this book on Revelation and finished it the first year of cancer, but the Lord told me to hide it and put it away. And I had to battle through cancer, and I brought forth Love Speaks. But in that valley, that relational valley, I said, Lord, what next? And that's when he said, it's time now to release this book on Revelation. And so not only did I rewrite that, it took about 2 years, because after writing it years ago, now I've, of course, gained some wisdom, a little bit more insight into the book of Revelation. So it feels like a fresh read when you read it. And also I'm creating now a new documentary film series, of course, based on the themes of the book. And I think it will inspire believers around the world that this is a time of intensified warfare. And the enemy is very strong in what he's bringing against us. But we can be just as strong in our intimate fellowship with Jesus. And as he even said, keep oil in our lamps.
All right. Well, where can people get the books?
Wonderful question. They're both available on our ministry website, which is called borntoblaze.com. That's a T-O. When you purchase them through our store, of course, it's a donation to our mission. But they're also both available on Amazon worldwide. So if someone's watching this, you can get them for free shipping on Amazon. And I encourage you, both of them have Bible study questions, so they're great for small groups as well. If you have any interest in either learning how to hear the voice of God better, or any interest in how to understand Revelation and the times in which we live, they're a great choice.
Well, we certainly always want to be able to hear the voice of God better. Now, what about the shows? Where can they watch those?
Wonderful question. So all 21 episodes are available streaming for free right now on either God TV, the God channel, or Daystar, the international network. All you do is you go on either of those apps. You can get them everywhere for free. Type in Love Speaks. The series will come up. It's available to you. If you want to see the director's cuts, which are a little bit longer and more substantial, those you can get on our website, borntoblaze.com, at a discount, and you can own them and stream them. And they have about 40% more content than the ones on television. But if you like the shorter versions, they're there. They're very powerful. And I encourage you to watch them and grow in your faith. And then later this year, of course, we'll have Revelation's Battle Plans available on Daystar.
Fantastic. Well, Carl, thank you so much. Glad you were able to come on the show today and share with us all about the series, Love Speaks. So we probably I'd like to maybe have you back when you have that other new series done so that we can talk about that one.
I would love that, and I would be honored. Just thank you, Isaac, for having me today.
Fantastic. Folks, we'll be right back with more Faith on Film.
What makes Capernaum Studios different from other movie studios? We believe in empowering filmmakers to make stories that matter, inspire, uplift, and transform lives. From historically authentic sets to state-of-the-art, fully equipped sound stages, we offer immersive LED and green screen stages, ICVFX virtual production, period to modern sets, a first-century village featured in The Chosen, and much more. We provide everything filmmakers need to focus on what matters in making their vision a reality, producing meaningful content affordably without compromising creativity. Discovering what's possible when creativity meets purpose. Capernaum Studios, empowering filmmakers to make dreams a reality.
Have you been enjoying our show, Faith on Film? We sure do enjoy bringing you information every week on what is happening in and around the world of faith and family entertainment, with interviews with some of the best faith and family filmmakers, to reviews of the Hollywood movies being marketed to you so that you can choose your movies wisely. But we cannot do this alone. That is why we are launching the Faith on Film Champion campaign. One definition of a champion is an individual who passionately supports, defends, and fights for a cause. What is a Faith on Film champion? Well, it is an opportunity for you to partner with us and help us continue to bring these great shows to you every week. To learn more about becoming a Faith on Film champion, just visit our website, faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com. There you will find all the information you need to become a Faith on Film champion. And now, let's get back to our show. Welcome back, everybody. Holly, I'm so excited about what you're going to talk about today. But before you do, why don't we take a look at the trailer to the movie Pressure?
Let's do. I'm going to talk about Pressure. It's a World War II movie with Brendan Fraser. Take a look.
Call General Eisenhower.
Tiger was a training op, dress rehearsal for D-Day. They walked right into it. One mistake. Just that one mistake.
Ike, you have to stop doing this to yourself. What's done is done.
Group Captain Dr. James Stagg, here at the express request of General Eisenhower.
Do we have a date yet for the invasion zone?
D-Day is in 61 hours from now. This is the largest seaborne invasion in history. Fate of the war, thousands of lives hinge on this. I need a forecast. Churchill tells me you're the best meteorologist in the country.
Get me the latest readings from every single base within 2,000 miles of Normandy. The invasion is confirmed for Monday.
Oh, they won't like this.
We are faced with a succession of 2 aggressive storms.
Are you absolutely certain?
D-Day will be calm and sunny.
I couldn't disagree with that more.
If D-Day is cancelled, we will lose this war.
The final decision on the timing of D-Day will be mine, and mine alone.
If you invade tomorrow, they're going to be washed away.
300,000 men with families that they may never see again. Why should I trust you?
We must face the facts. The facts, however frightening they may be.
If we delay,
the enemy will be ready and waiting. They'll slaughter every single last one of us.
The storms that I'm talking about are real, and the wrath of nature is real.
Did Brendan Fraser gain a little weight?
He actually did, because he wants to play General Eisenhower. So that was what he gained weight for, to do that. But we're on a Brendan Fraser craze. He's kind of made a comeback because of the movie Whale and other movies. And so now we're on this craze with him. We love him. But also, I'll tell you, Andrew Scott plays James Stagg, which is the meteorologist. And as you saw in the trailer, it is about the setting up the D-Day, which happened 82 years ago. D-Day happened, and we just celebrated it. So it's about what happened before, leading up to. It's the pressure of the weather. The meteorologist says there's a storm coming. We can't send the guys in. Eisenhower says we have to. If we won't have the element of surprise. Thousands of soldiers will die. It'll cost our freedom. So it's the whole pressure of the intense behind the scenes of before the guys went and invaded and what was involved with that. And you would think, okay, weather, what's that about? But you don't realize how much goes on in preparing to invade a country, especially back then when they had limited knowledge of things. And it is a phenomenal. They used colorized World War II footage, which I feel like added to the movie because it made it realistic and made you feel like you had realistic scenes. Probably saved him a lot of money too, because those are expensive scenes to recreate. And the war scenes, the behind the scenes, it was just good action. And again, you might think, well, that's kind of boring, but it's not. It really does build a lot of tension and a lot of pressure, as the title says, and the acting is so good. So I just encourage, you know what? Hey, take your grandfather, take your grandparents and say, would you like to go see a movie? Or take your grandkids' grandparents and say, look, you need to learn a little bit of history of what really happened, because it's that kind of movie. And I just loved it. Anyway, again, I feel like we're losing some of history. I grew up watching those movies. Isaac, I'm sure you did too. And I feel like I had a love for that because I grew up watching that, and appreciation and a respect.
Yeah.
I just feel like we've got a younger generation who could care less and doesn't know anything about it. So this is a good movie.
I remember watching the movie Patton, for instance.
Yes. And being so impressed by that. And of course, you know, Band of Brothers is a great series if you want to really watch what happened in World War II, Band of Brothers. Now, speaking of another part of history that I think people don't know about, I love what John Irwin has done with Wonder Project. And what he's done with Wonder Project from House of David, the series, he's taken House of David, and out of that, the title of the series is The Old Stories. And he's going to start telling the stories of the characters in the Bible. And he especially was able to do it because House of David has a storytelling segment where the kids are learning stories from the father sitting around, you know, dinner or the campfire. And he starts to tell the story. Okay, let's watch the trailer. And after you see it, I think you'll be so impressed with a new retelling with Ben Kingsley starring as Moses.
Tell me what happened. I saw fire. A bush. Flames wrapping round every branch, every leaf. As if the fire was alive. And I heard a voice.
What did he say?
He knew my name. He told me that I must return to Egypt, to the place of my birth, to where my people are in bondage as slaves.
Let me tell you a story my father told me. A Hebrew woman's son was raised in generosity in this house.
I will name you Moses, for I drew you from the water.
This very sword given to him. And he used it to betray us all.
I was foolish then, but now I come on behalf of a God who needs no sword. If you resist him, you'll suffer a fate worse than theirs.
I will never let your people go.
Moses, turn around and save my boy!
Over 1 million people. How will we do this? Behold the power of your God.
I love the look of this. I love the way it feels real. I love the characters, the actors. Ben Kingsley as Moses. Oti Fajborni as Pharaoh was phenomenal. Ahmed Lukan as Aaron. I mean, the cast is amazing with a multi-talented. The setting, the way that he's put, and we know it's special effects and stuff behind it. And you know, I'm always one of those that sees that and goes, those are bad special. But it was good. I mean, you kind of really feel like you're back in that time, in that day. Ben Kingsley as Moses. I mean, it's so funny because John Irwin has used him in so many movies. He's using him in his Young Washington, which we'll be talking about that in another week or two to come. And he's used him in that movie. And he's played in so many things. Oh, we grew up with him. But I'm telling you, folks, and another thing, y'all, watch this as a family. It's like 18 minutes, 17 minutes. There's only 3 of them. So you can literally sit down after dinner before bedtime and say, hey, let's watch this. It's like 20 minutes or less to sit down and watch it and then discuss it. And you had a great bedtime show to watch that, before kids go to bed. It's just one of those. It's excellent.
Yeah, it is. I've seen all 3 episodes, by the way.
Yes.
I was going to say I binged on them. Well, being 19, 20 minutes, of course, it's not that difficult to
binge for an hour.
Binge for an hour. They were amazing. I really appreciated the fact that they're taking this from the House of David characters.
Yes.
And it's David's father basically telling these stories to these kids and going into the stories. It just really ties it in. That was brilliant.
It is.
Yep, you're right. The quality of these movies and series that are being done now are amazing. They're no longer, okay, well, it was good for a Christian movie. No, these are good for any kind of movie. They're fantastic.
I remember when you and I used to say that, years ago. We really had to used to say, well, for a Christian, maybe it's really good, or Christian whatever. I said, John Irwin. Hats off to John Irwin. I'm telling you, applause. We're going to be interviewing him soon for the Young Washington movie. And whenever we do, I Can Only Imagine 2. And then, I Can Only Imagine is what he's involved with, the first one. And then he went on from there to start Wonder Project. And from Wonder Project, he did House of David, which we got the phenomenal 2 seasons of that. So he really has grown as a filmmaker for 20 years doing faith-based films. And he's still doing it, but he's doing it his way beyond. And I'm telling you, so impressed with the quality. Executive producer John Gunn, which we've interviewed on this show, Isaac. So these are people we've known for years that I love to see them excel in their position of where they are and what they're doing, and bring us things that can stand on par with any Hollywood, major actors, major director production.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I don't think they've said anything about it, but I'm hoping it is going to happen. I'm really looking forward to a season 3 of House of David, because they didn't really finish the story. I mean, he hasn't really become king yet, has he? I think it ended where he's still not king yet. So there's a lot more to talk about, a lot more to show on House of David. So I'm really hoping.
And all I can say about this, it's called The Old Stories, Moses, and it's on Wonder Project, folks. You have to go to Wonder Project to see it. All Isaac can say, and I can say, is we hope there's more, because these are amazing and wonderful and great for the family.
Yeah, yes, they sure are. Well, that's it, Holly, for today. I would take my hat off, like you said, but I don't really like to show my bald head, so I'll just keep my hat on, all right?
Well, that's kind of TMI, but okay. Thanks for that.
So, folks, don't forget to check out our website, faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com. You can also find all kinds of information on us and the show, and a lot of our old past shows that we've done before. If you haven't seen those, go and catch up. All right, Holly, that's it for today.
Blessings to everyone. Choose your movies wisely.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at faithonfilmtv. Also, visit our website, faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com, where you'll find links to all of our past shows and much more.